Hello, welcome back to Spekd. Issue 49. Issue 49. Issue 49. I'm doing the Dave Chappelle robot dance behind here. I know you can't see it, but it's the best dance you ever would see. You just don't know. Alright, look. We've hit issue 49. We're getting really close to a milestone here. I mean, issue 50, it's kind of saying something. This is showing that Hachette has consistently produced the magazines continuously, and in the past I have heard some dodgy reviews about them not producing the items. Lo and behold, we're at 49. I know, we've got to get to 80, so I want to bring back down my hopes, just in case. But let's get this opened up. Yeah, I'm doing the opening on cameras for this lot. I think after the last recent ones, I think that's it's appropriate. You know, people like that. I don't mind, as long as I don't hit the camera. Okay, what have we got? Let's focus in. We've got some paints here. We have our Calgar blue. Now, I have never used this as layer paint. I might actually use it on my add highlights to my Cypher Lords for my Warcry. Let's have a look here. We have our Dawnstone. Okay. And we have our Ogryn Camo. I've never tried any of these paints before, so I'd like to see how they play out and see what examples they use them for in here. So let's have a look here. So highlights with the layer paints. We're having a look at Land Raiders. Ooh, Land Raiders. Wait, wrong word. Hell Blasters. There we go. We're going to look at the Black Crusades. We're going to get a bit of history. I'm going to look at one of the most effective vehicles out there. But before we get there, so we're having a look at Land Raiders. We're looking at the Black Crusades from Black Legion. Oh, sorry, yep, from Abaddon. We've got edge highlights. We've got no build section, but we've got the vector infection rules. So it doesn't seem like much, but they're discussing here that highlighting to produce contrast is actually really important, and this is what this particular magazine is all about. Yeah, these have always been here. I've just kind of like been avoiding them. So Land Raiders, these are like, consider tanks. These would be super tanks. Now, we've just recently seen the Rhino in one of the issues that Death Guards gets. This is like the big cooler brother of that. Now, within 40k game at the moment, not many people play them because they're not as versatile. They can only carry standard Marines, they can't carry Primaris Marines. So we see less and less of them on the table. So if you do play 40k and you're a veteran, I know that we expect to see a points reduction at some point, hopefully, so we can see them back on the table. Otherwise, we've got like 3 or 4 of those sitting in the background. I have repurposed mine for, which used to be for Crimson Slaughter, for the Black Legion, which I'll probably show you later anyway. It doesn't matter for this, but just to show you, I'll show you the size differences. It would be good to see them on the table, but again, these are like the big APC in Aliens 2. Where the troopers turn up and they pull up in that vehicle and it just looks awesome. It looks like a long tank limo thing. This is like one of those. They carry the troops into battle, get them to the front line with all the weaponry, like a tank, deploy people instantly where they need to, and they just wreck things. Beautiful. So we've got our stats here: carry capacity, transport capabilities, crew, all of that. So even though it tends to be slow in the lore, it's still really tough. Brilliant. We've got a cross section of a Land Raider. This brings me back to being a kid. Like when you was a kid, you know, you used to get those books on okay, before the internet, right? There was a time that you would get magazines, and in magazines you might have a cool thing like this about a jet or a plane or a car or something, and you get to look at the inner workings to see how they designed it. This is amazing. Wow. Wow, this is amazing. Thank you. You know, thank you, Hashit. I appreciate you getting your hands on this. Games Workshop for chucking that in. I'm sure there was a poster of this that came out years and years ago, and that's long before I was interested in this, but I've seen it in one or two YouTube channels. Wow. Yeah, that's like a bit of history. Okay. Land Raiders is talking about how tough they are, how they're prized, and how on the battlefield, even if like a battalion loses, more Marines will be sent just to collect Land Raiders, as they're really precious, and Chaos do try to corrupt them the best they can. But these things have been around for, you know, thousands of years. You've got different variants, which means that they have different weapon types on them. You've got lovely Crimson Fist examples there. You've got the Black Crusades, and this is from the Shadowspear set, which has just come out recently. I say recently, it's been out for a while. I am still painting my models. I know, I'm taking my time. I'm really enjoying that time that I'm taking. I'm not going to rush it. Everything else I'll paint up and I'll get done now, but that I'm going to take my time with. And this is the Chaos Crusade. So this is where Chaos are coming back into the universe. So they come out from the Eye of Terror. They come away from being in the warp, and space is really expansive. The Imperium have got enough things to deal with without these guys being around, and they've been fighting back the Tau, the Tyranids, the Orcs. So their forces are really stretched. And in that meantime, Chaos have just come by, and Abaddon is really smart about picking targets. There is like a running joke that he always loses, but overall the events that's taken place and the distractions he's run has totally changed the galaxy. And you've seen that inside the folder. Now there is a talk about I know it's another kind of distraction, it's like the warp awakens. First of all, I did honestly think, I spent a lot of time thinking maybe this could be an example of endless spells which are in Age of Sigmar, but for Warhammer 40k. And I was talking to the Weather Pig about how I actually use like hot glue models and items that I've made to represent spells. So like Wings of Sanguinius, I've made some wings out of hot glue and I've put them down on the base, and then when I cast that ability with my Psyker, I just drop my Psyker on top of it, so I remember that ability has been used. Now I don't think it is going to be that now. The more I think about it, I think it might have something to do with Malcador. I can't say what exactly, but I'm thinking we've got access to Belisarius Core, and he was a character which has almost come out of nowhere, but is quite influential and quite powerful within Warhammer 40k, but he's not a Primarch. If we don't get a Primarch, is it possible that we could see Malcador as an actual playable character? I don't know how that will go down, but after the Emperor, he's meant to be the most powerful Psyker, so yeah, I don't know. Sorry, let's get back to it. So we have the sword Dracnia, which is Abaddon's sword, and this sword is just hungry for souls. I do have the Abaddon build and paint in the playlist somewhere. I'll add it to the end. The ship there, the Planet Killer, so obviously goes throughout space. He prizes his ships. He doesn't like to smash them into things like the Space Marines do, and they're like almost the size of small moons. We have edge highlighting here, and they're going over there to show you what they want you to highlight. Not bad. So we're going back to older characters. Now I have already highlighted my characters, but on black, well, I can see that working, but I don't often highlight black on my characters. I feel that if it's black, it should be black, and that's for stealth mode, especially with my space ninjas. So they're showing you the Dawnstone, highlighting the bolter, just making it pop there. It makes a bit of a difference, as you can see. They're looking at Death Guard, same thing really. And on the weaponry there, that makes a lot of sense. I use silver to highlight the edges there for the weapon. You can take your time. It says there, keep your hands steady. If you're touching a model, so say this is your brush, don't have to hand. If you've got your fingers locked or you're touching the model, it makes it easier, because if this hand moves, this hand's going to move with it. if you try and paint like this, you are going to miss. You know, you will end up messing up the model. But just even if you just lock your fingers, the closer you get, the better. So you almost treat it as if it is a pen that you're working like with fine detail with, and that will save you a lot of time, a lot of problems. And that's how I get detail on my chaplains, purity seals, or his litanies, whichever. So they're showing you there more of that green for highlighting, just to pop those grooves and marks within the armor, which makes a lot of sense. Back to the tank. Yes, if you enjoyed the sponge painting, just let me know. But I think it worked out a lot better than this. I even sponge painted another one, which I might show at the end. So we got a Calgar blue that works here. I mean, nah, well, you know, each to their own. Back to Poxwalkers, we haven't seen these for a while, and that actually makes it look more like jeans. So what does that say for this? There's a slight disconnect here. Okay, on our Redemptor, and yes, I've got a new Redemptor at the moment with a baby seat. Enough said. People gonna hate me for that, but it is what it is. Now, I think a lot of people just don't really want to say it. I've said it for you. So the mission has continued. We're looking at the facility there. Makeshift Medicaid facility. That sounds good. So Factorium, we'll have a look where we can actually heal people up. Story's moving forward. And who have they have in the story here? So they're moving forward with Repugnus. Okay. Because we actually had a situation where it was Death Guard versus Death Guard, and they've had it that Repugnus has come through. So the vector of infection, we have our Space Marines quarantine zone. They've put the two mats together again. So we're really getting larger now. The mat, we're getting closer to a full board. That's really nice to see. We've got the Surgeon, Poxwalkers, 12, Plague Marines, Malignant Plague Caster. I love the way that they won't leave the Poxwalkers out of these battles. It's like they have to be there. We have the Apothecary, which makes a lot of sense. The Librarian, that makes sense. 5 Intercessors, 3 Aggressors. Yeah, okay. 3 Aggressors versus what? 7 Plague Marines. No, just no. Yeah, this is a win. Get the Apothecary to stand behind the aggressors and just keep on healing them as they go. That's it. That's finished. You know, take out their Plague Surgeon if you can. That's just ridiculous. Okay. Sorry about that. So that's the next issue. We kind of already saw that last time. We've got our Battlefield Terrain kit. That looks nice. And if you get that whole piece, it might be worth getting 2 of these. Because I've seen people use them almost as bookends for like milk containers. So it kind of, you could just paint up the middle, just rust it out, you know, use that sponge rust effect, and then place them at the end so it looks like an authentic piece of terrain, rather than just having one and then just a flat piece at the back. It could work, and if that does come in 2 halves, you might be able to split it and use both halves anyway in that manner. Kind of like how you split the terrain last time that we had these pipes. Okay, so overall, what do I think? It's another one of those issues where it's like, okay, I need the paints. Do I use those colours often? Well, I'm sure I'll find a way to use them, so that's good to have them. Otherwise, I wouldn't try them. And I think that's really what this magazine's about, giving you opportunities just to try new things. Otherwise, you wouldn't. I don't think you would even bother. It's okay. I wouldn't give this the best out of 10, but you know, it is what it is. We're getting close to that landmark number, so maybe that's what this is about, really. Either way, this has been Spekd. I've kind of enjoyed the magazine, but I've enjoyed my time. I hope you've enjoyed yours. You tell me what you think about it. I'm honestly a bit indecisive about this one. I like the paint. I love the land radar info. Other than that, at this point, I think I've kind of got it. Either way, PC out.